This article is about DNA, and it was produced by Nathaniel Jensen, who is a scientist working for Answers in Genesis, and he has specialized in looking at what's happening in terms of the Y chromosome in particular, and what the level of mutations that are going on there. But in that process, he's also kind of done work in looking at how the Europeans come from Asia, the Africans seem to derive from Egypt. There's some interesting linkages that one can do, and a lot of people work out their ancestry by going through the DNA route. But from a position of the Bible, probably the most interesting finding is that if we look at the Y chromosome, which has the same characteristic as mitochondrial DNA has for women, the Y chromosome is a male only chromosome, which means you can actually do work looking at mutations there, which you can't do for other genes because of the recombination that keeps going on between male and female. So if you look at the Y chromosome, what you do discover is that the level of mutations that we see across all species appears to be much more consistent with a recent creation of about 6,000 years. And you can't see the level of mutations you would expect for millions of years. And that is a profound finding. I would say that there probably is more work needs to be done to confirm that. But looking at the evidence, it does seem to be pointing in that direction. And this confirms, obviously, the evidence of John Sanford when he talks about the whole problem of mutations. Simply, you can't have millions of mutations over millions of years because you would destroy the genetic code anyway. But actually, when we look at the genetic code and look for the number of mutations where we can isolate it, and the Y chromosome is one of those places we can do so, it looks like it's consistent with a recent creation. Where you find people talking about molecular clocks and other dating systems, you must remember that those will have assumptions built into them that are built around millions of years. And therefore, they're not really trustworthy systems. The Y chromosome is more trustworthy because it has no or very few assumptions. And that's the problem with a lot of dating systems like radiometric dating, etc., is it's the assumptions that they are built upon are probably faulty, almost certainly circular in terms of assuming an old age for the Earth and therefore cranking out a result that's consistent with an old age. The Y chromosome has far fewer assumptions, and when I looked at the soft tissue in dinosaur bones, that has very few, if any, assumptions. It's where you have fewer assumptions and you get evidence that's consistent with thousands of years. That type of evidence is far, far stronger than evidence that's built on large numbers of assumptions, many of which could actually be building into the system millions of years without your realizing it. So I think this work is worth looking at. The article also has a lot of footnotes which take you to even more detailed papers. And so if you want to, as it were, find out even more detail, this article is a good staging point for that. Well, thank you for listening.